Hey everybody, Asher here, back with some more Hearthstone, where today you can see we're playing Hunter, but it's not face deck day. This is mid-range Hunter. I would say that face Hunter is going to be struggling for quite some time with some of the losses. Control Hunter still remains to be seen, especially if N'Zoth Hunter can possibly be a thing. But mid-range Hunter, mid-range is in a very good spot. So let's talk about the deck a little bit before we get started. One of the biggest things that mid-range lost was Mad Scientist, so we do run a few traps. The nice thing about going back to a pre-next world is that instead of relying on RNG to pull these traps for us, we can kind of play them when we want to. But the idea with any kind of mid-range deck is to control the early game and then push hard with your minions in the late game. And to exemplify that, we do have Call of the Wild, which is 8 mana, summon Leok, Huffer, and Misha all at once, which if you have board, and generally with mid-range, especially in a metagame right now where a lot of people are not running board clears, you do, that's pretty good. And that is actually another key piece that, if you notice, there's only one 5-drop in this deck, and that's Stranglethorn Tiger. Stranglethorn is great because it has stealth, and it can synergize very well with Call of the Wild, synergize very well with Kill Command because there's beasts, so it's all very good. Some other newcomers include Infested Wolf, and then we have Firebat, wherever it is. There it is, Firebat, as well as On the Hunt. On the Hunt, for a little bit of a ping, does have some synergy with Hunter's Mark, which is what we're using as the equivalent of a Silence in this deck. And then Firebat, dealing 1 damage. You want to mulligan for this as hard as possible. This gives you a little bit of board as well, plus a beast, so you can combo that and do 6 damage with Kill Command. But hey, this is the deck. It's mid-range Hunter. There's not a lot to it other than to say, let's go ahead and play some games.
The light shall bring victory.
Let the hunt begin.
Alright, since we're going mid-range, we generally want to mulligan one of 2 ways. To have a curve, or to just try and get as many low drops as possible. Now against Priest, we're not going to have as many problems. This is actually a decent opening hand. The 3/2s challenge a lot of things that Priest is going to put out, especially since this is very likely a Cthulhu Priest. So I'm going to try and hold the freezing trap until it becomes best practice to use it later. Since we got a bunch of 2-drops, might as well Alec first. Let's see if we have Dark Charmander. So it is a Cthulhu deck. We know that. Well, we'd still have plenty of early game. The usual suspect for this is that if you are facing a lot of little board decks here, is that a lot of like tiny creature decks, is that you want to get your big stuff out. Oh no, I had a thought there. Loot Hoarder is interesting. I think I've actually seen this list. That's a Cthulhu Priest that runs Loot Hoarders. But we'll see some of the Cthulhu minions soon enough. We do have Quick Shot for him. Acolyte of Pain. Okay, so this is super control heavy. He's going to go for the card draw too. Is he going to get it? No, he's not. Alright. Now, I could possibly drop a freezing trap here. He has no other way to activate that right now, and that would deny him card draw. I think that's smarter than dropping a huge toad, which sounds exactly like something you can do in the toilet, because that's the humor that I have right now. Yay, that's very exciting. Now, with mid-range versus Priest, Priest has a lot of healing potential, so that's going to always be an issue. But at least we did deny some card draw, which that seems to be what he's valuing in this deck. So we can start to get Cthulhu up, and is he going to Shadow Word Pain this? Yes. Well, that's good news for me. There are other targets that he can pain. Now, we do want to be going for board control here as much as possible, so I am just going to go ahead and Quick Shot this. There may be better Quick Shot targets later, but at least right now. He does get the Cthulhu buff, which means we'll have to watch out for Cthulhu Fun later. I'm curious to see how Savannah Highmane does challenging Emperors. Really? He really wants that card draw. Okay. How do we want to do this then? I guess we go Hero Power. Yeah, let's do it that way. I think versus Priest, it's going to be more correct if we try and end the game. And this Mastiff does not have charge. I meant to mention that before. But it is such a fun, happy picture. For those of you that do not know, that is not Stormwind in the background. That is Scarlet Monastery, interestingly enough. So he's going for ultimate card draw. Is he going to get a bonus here? Nope. And Holy Nova as well. So there's a little bit of extra card draw. Well, he spent all of his mana doing that. We do have a high main. We'll see if he has the death for it. Considering he's drawn some cards, it's very likely that he does.
Are you my master? I feast.
Alright, so a little bit of healing. And see, this is where we're not just straight up going face, especially when the game gives us 2 kill commands. So let's go ahead and drop an Elic. Oh, we actually... Oh, wow, we actually got it. I'm not going to drop that yet. We have 2 kill commands, so I really want to take this out. Now, the old Amaz rule is that if you're able to hit face once with some mana high main, you will win the game. That's not 100% accurate, but I am curious if that is going to hold here. Now, he doesn't have Light Bomb to clear some of these things, but there are other ways, like Excavated Evil, that he can do some work. So there's Emperors. He's actually going to go for the 1 damage there. It's the right move.
Is someone injured?
Oh, okay. Oh boy, that is that's a top deck if I ever saw one. I really wish I had Unleashed the Hounds here. You'll notice that I don't actually run a lot of card draw in this deck. And it should technically make me a little sad that I just spent both kill commands here, and that's probably right. Because now I'm in top deck mode versus Priest, which is never great. But the idea with this mid-range deck is that we want to be ending the game by right around now. Cthulhu Priest, if it gets to around turn 10, we're going to have a bad time anyway. So he's going to heal for 4 probably. No, heal for 10. Well, why not? That's plus healing. We do get a Houndmaster, which is good. We'll just pretend this is a Reno matchup, and I am going to actually work to prevent the card draw here. That is a little bit problematic because that does mean that we will be facing potential busting through both of our taunts, or we could just get Cthulhu right now, which is okay. So the idea behind Control Priest and stuff like this is that you actually just work to survive. There's Cthulhu. I mean, if he doesn't heal for 20, then we have the game. But that's a Priest, pretty much. So good game.
Well fought. I concede. I will fight with honor. Let the hunt begin.
Alright, this is a decent start. I'm not sure what is up with that card back or why there's a graphical error up there. We'll see. So Huge Toad, Eagle Horn Bow, good curve. Like I said, I think there's a light source issue right now. There we go. So no 1-drops. You like getting fiery bats, but I do like holding on to the bow. So we can curve pretty nicely here. It's just a matter of if this is a... It depends on what kind of paladin this is. So there's the fire bat. 1 turn too late, obviously. But we can always drop it as kind of a cantrip on any awkward turns. 4 is not looking so awkward, but turn 5 would be very sad if I don't have any other plays. Yes, it's a toad! Hello, nobody likes Huge Toad. Everyone plays Flame Juggler. Alright, so we have Control Paladin. Well, we can at least use our mana right now. Alright. So this is going to be interesting. This will be 2 games in a row where we'll have to test and see how well we do versus... Oh, wow. Solemn Vigil. Well, that's because Doomsayer kills at the beginning of your turn. So he got the extra card draw there. Alright, how do we want to do this? I think we can just allocate. And depends on what we get. If we get. We didn't get. Because we want to have something on the board. I don't know if I want to rush Fiery Bat or not, or just Hero Power. We don't want to get too greedy, but it seems like this is a N'Zoth Paladin that's going to be running some additional healing and things like that. Doom Doomsayer is just a good tech card versus some of the hyper aggro things like Face Shaman. Watch the video to see about this. So True Silver. That's 1 damage to... No, that's... Yeah, that's 1 damage to him. Alright, so what can I play? Lone Wolf survives pretty well. Unless he has Consecration, he just takes out everything. Let's make it a little more awkward for him. He can still consecrate this down, but at least he wouldn't tap it with the sword and then leave me with no remaining spiders.
Follow the rule.
Okay, good. Very glad you used that on here and not on my buddy over there. So we're going to be using Eagle Horn Bow. I could potentially Houndmaster, but...
Reporting for duty.
Alright, on the hunt. Ooh. On the hunt's fun for possibly taking out these little dudes. But we're going to high main for now.
I hunt alone.
I'm just going to go face. No reason to run either of these guys into one minion. I feel like if he had wanted to kings, he would have kingsed by now. But I could be terribly mistaken about that in just a second. But even so, this is a slower deck. So I think once again we want to really start speeding up this crap before he gets whatever his game plan is off.
I wonder.
So if we can get away with taunting up our Firebat next turn, that would be awesome. Want to taunt up the Firebat so Savannah Highmane doesn't get hit, especially if he drops Sylvanas. Alright, what do we got? It's going to be Forbidden Healing? No, it wouldn't be at 6, because that'd be 12. That'd be quite the overheal.
This document looks legally binding.
Interesting. So we do have a Nizak Paladin. I guess you're going to tap the button as well.
Reporting for duty.
Alright, we are not going to poke the bear and do the Twilight Summoner first. It's actually a really nice top deck. Maybe very useful for next turn. Got an on the hunt here. And probably good enough just to hero power. And weaponing here is not going to matter very much. Can weapon now, weapon later. Turn 7. Well, at least we don't have Cthulhu Twin Emperors coming out just yet. Even though you can run all those Cthulhu minions and not actually have Cthulhu in there. The Druid, that may end up being a viable strategy. Especially because Emperors is so good. It's just a universal buff. I guess when it says wherever Cthulhu is, it really means even your collection manager.
Let me think.
But the idea here is that with a mid-range deck like this, you're always going to have that option of, do I play the more control game or do I just try and end it earlier? So there's all the Forbidden Healing, so up for 14. Okay. Second Savannah Highmane is very good. Hopefully we don't get Eradricked. Alright, just a little bit off. So is it Ragnaros Lightlord time? If it is, I win, but that's the one issue that I have seen people say about Forbidden Healing, that while it is very... There we go. Oh, good, Lightlord. I've thought about crafting them quite a bit. While it is a deck, or a... While Lightlord is a thing that can actually... or all this healing... Okay, I'm going to make my point here, and then I'm going to continue, and I'm sorry I got distracted. The problem with Forbidden Healing is that it's passive. If you spend all your mana healing yourself, you're not changing the board state at all. So you have to be smart with it. Going all in, he had a bunch of cards in his hand. Healing for 14 doesn't do anything except let me develop the board. So I'm not going to play control. I'm playing a mid-range deck. I'm just going to start going for the face. It's Hunter, after all. That's what Hunters do. That's the meme. So Forbidden Healing, like I said, I'm very curious about if Control Paladin can work. There's a lot of dust that I need to collect to try and get it together, because there's a lot of things that I'd like to craft and make it work. But regardless, glad that I got the win. Like I said, for mid-range you got to choose. hit face or control the board. And at least in Whispers of the Old Gods so far, controlling the board seems to be more of a thing. I've talked long enough. Let's go to the next game.
The light shall bring victory.
Let the hunt begin.
Look, everybody, another priest. We get our tiger this time, which is good. And we do get kill command as well. So we'll see if we can get some good pulls with King Zealot. Like I said, once again, it's probably Cthulhu Priest. Cthulhu Priest is looking very strong. And for a lot of people that have... there's a really popular Hearthstone deck list out there that says it's the meta killer. There we go. So we know it's a Cthulhu Priest now. And he knows I have High Main. So other than turn 5... Well, no, wait a minute. We have turn 3. Turn 4 is Alec Hero Power. Turn 5 is Tiger. Turn 6 is High Main. We're living the dream right now. Actually, we have an even stronger turn 4 now. So turn 3. Misha would be great. Ow. And once again, as we found with Priest, they can get the ball rolling really fast. So we need to get this going in a hurry. So he's going to be able to heal a lot. In just a minute. Let's get our double taunts up. Taz Dingo, 2v2. So we got turn 5, turn 6, and then who knows what. No Call of the Wild yet. I'd love to be able to play that at least one go for this video. Play her Backlight whenever a character is healed. Give your Cthulhu +1/+1. Is that worth killing? Well, I can't do it this time. I want to be developing my board. The alternative is just to sacrifice my... Oh, wow. Does that count as healing for Cthulhu purposes? It does not appear to. Okay. Ooh, okay, we're going to switch it up a little bit. Okay, since we're playing mid-range here, I really don't like having the Akanai Soul Priest out. Except it prevents him from healing, but it does let him make big plays. This is a really good combo piece with a lot of stuff that just got released. So we are going to Eagle Horn. We are going to kill command. And let's unleash the tiger. And nice thing about Fiery Bat as well is that it does actually allow you to, say, fiddle with your curve a little bit if you want to play High Main later. So there's one death. The question is, does he have 2 deaths? The more resources he's having to spend to deal with my board, the less he's actually doing developing his Cthulhu. There's Call of the Wild. Now, if we can stick this and Call of the Wild, that's going to be amazing. I'll save my weapon. Once again, this weapon is more of a clearing device. That was a really good turn. So, Entomb. Alright. That's most of his turn, though. And once again, he's not using this to develop his Cthulhu, so that is great. Let's listen. I have not actually played this card yet in all the games I've done testing. So, Call the Wild. Let's do it. Alright. Once again, control with this. Face. Face. We have lethal next turn with Houndmaster, or without. Depends on what he elects to do here. Okay, can he survive? That's one way to do it.
Flee, screaming.
Alright, I think we are going for the total face plan at this point. So it's here 4, 5, 6, 7. We want to hero power. Alright, so let's on the hunt this. Let's Alec. This is loading up my board tremendously, but Light Bomb is not a thing anymore. So he doesn't get... We know Emperor's somewhere in the deck and not in the hand, which makes sense because he would have played it. Alright, can we do it? Can we beat Priest before we can get turn 10? Now, this is actually a pretty decent counter Cthulhu play as well, because this Cthulhu right now is at 12. And we've got a lot, not like the highest health on the board, but a lot of health on the board. This is where, like I said, Call of the Wild can really close out games. Yeah, he got Huffer, but even the Mastiff, the little on the hunt spell, helped things out. But yeah, the question once again is, can he make it, or do we have a priest that said, oh my god, Hunter's OP, quit. Whereas, once again, turn 8, turn 9, I saw a really good post on Reddit about it. I forget exactly which Hearthstone subreddit. But mid-range decks, you really gotta, while it is mid-range, you gotta really hope to have your game plan together by turn 8 or turn 9. Or else your big play, whether it's Cthulhu, whether it's N'Zoth, all those turn. This is the expansion that seems to be more about turn 10 play. So, we do win. And he did rage quit. Astounding. Let's go talk about the deck one more time. Alright, so mid-range Hunter once again. We got to see some good examples of what can kill it and what tends to work. Once again, I don't run really card draw to speak of, and this is like the old style mid-range Hunter. You have so much early stuff, you should be able to solve it in the mulligan. Call of the Wild is really good. I don't think it's something that you should be running more than one of, and that seems to be the fairly popular opinion, because just 2 of these ends up cluttering your hand, and you got to have a really slow game to have that work. And then if you're wanting to slow down the game that much, you're not really a mid-range deck anymore. So it's all about the curve. On the Hunt is really nice for just setting up plays, as well as Fiery Bats. You do have your 2 traps. We didn't get to see Explosive Trap do a lot of work because we didn't really face any aggressive decks. But it is there for a reason. Quick Shot, you're never going to get the card draw off of it, not in this kind of deck, unless you're in a top deck battle, so I don't count it as card draw. King's Elk is probably the only way you can fish through your deck, but it's not reliable. So that's why if we look at our curve, it's a lot of 2 and 3 drops. We want to establish early, and hopefully with Elk, draw Savannah Highmane, draw Stranglethorn, possibly even draw Shield Master. But as we've seen, since there's a lot of Cthulhu decks and a lot of super heavy late game decks out there, these are not going to be very effective right now. Give it about a week or 2 and you'll probably be at a more settled metagame where people are probably going to settle more on mid-range and there's going to be some controls. People are starting to finally realize that Zoo is not dead and Patron's not dead, so the meta is going to react to that accordingly. Just give it some time. But that's it for now. This is Asher. Thanks for watching. Mid-range Hunter, probably one of my favorite decks to play because it is just pretty much one of those decks where it feels like you get to flip the switch and just go all out. But thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you want to know more. If there's any deck archetypes you're interested in seeing, let me know. But thanks for watching. Take care.